All right, Monday the 4th of March, 2:57 p.m. Presidential immunity. You know, that's an interesting subject, huh? In the Supreme Court, evidently, they're going to hear a case sometime soon involving presidential immunity. Yeah, I believe a president has some immunity. The question is, where do you draw the line? Is it total immunity? I believe it could be. With exception, though. Here would be the exceptions. Look, I'm going to lay some scenarios on you here. You all see how much sense this makes. Okay, we're going to dial back in time here with one of these examples I'm going to give you. So basically what we're talking about is a president committing an act while they're in office, during their term, after they have taken the oath. Now remember, when they take the oath is not a 9-to-5 obligation. It's from when they raise their right hand till their term of service is over, unless they resign beforehand. So acts they commit during their time of service. So, the Constitution, it's Congress's responsibility. That's the check on the president when he commits high crimes and misdemeanors. And that's the actual terminology in the Constitution. They can impeach him, and with enough votes in the Senate, they can convict him. And based on this, this not based on, but this 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, depending, the Congress can make the president ineligible to hold any other federal office, or maybe even government office. Okay? In the case of insurrection, the Congress has the power to do that per the Constitution. I believe they took Bill Clinton's law license back when he was impeached. Okay, so the Congress evidently had the right to do that. So let's lay out a few examples here. Let's say if President Trump got behind the wheel of the limousine, presidential limousine, and he headed out driving that limousine and he hit somebody and killed them. And he was at fault. It was determined in the wreck he was at fault. Let's say this accident happened in Georgia. Can charges be preferred against Trump in Georgia? I say the answer is no. Let's say the way the wreck set itself up. Let's just say the president driving the limousine was under the influence of alcohol. Well, you could have a negligent homicide case there, or a manslaughter charge, right? Well, that would be up to Congress. That would be up to Congress to impeach and remove him from office, convict him. Okay? And in so doing, he would be subjected. Maybe the state of Georgia could then come after him. Okay? He may even be come after for civil damages. Okay? So you see this RICO case in Georgia? Trump, they're saying Trump did everything he did while he was in office. They don't even have jurisdiction here, in my opinion. Trump has never been convicted during an impeachment trial for anything by the Senate. Okay? Now, let's dial back here, because this is interesting, okay? Because, you know, the Supreme Court, boy, they're going to have to thread a real needle here on this immunity thing. You'll see where I'm going with this here. Let's dial back to the President George W. Bush years. George W. Bush, he goes out and makes public statements about what? Weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. He ordered soldiers of the United States military to go to Iraq and surrounding areas, whatever. Did we ever see any evidence of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? The answer is no. We still haven't seen it. So, could a surviving spouse or a mother or father of a soldier over there that was killed, would they have a lawsuit? Would they have a civil lawsuit? I mean, President Bush did say what he said, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. That's what the intelligence showed. Well, okay, so what exactly did he see with the intelligence? Was there any photos? Was there any satellite images showing these weapons of mass destruction? So President Bush, if you use the liberals' argument here, could have been prosecuted after he left office. I mean, the only thing you'd have to worry about is the statute of limitations for the crime running out. Well, what about murder? What's the definition of murder? So you have a president that goes and takes out a terrorist and a civilian unassociated with the terrorist gets killed in the crossfire or during the bombing or whatever. What does that person have a lawsuit? Wonder if you're a tourist, you're an American tourist, and you happen to be in one of these areas near one of these terrorists, okay? The president gives the order, the bomb is dropped. You're killed. You're an American over there, and you're killed. So, do you have a lawsuit? Does the President of the United States, could he face a lawsuit on such matter? We've not seen this before. So the president is really, when you look at, does the Constitution make reference to impeachment is all that is talked about when it talks about high crimes and misdemeanors. Well, why would you have a Congress if the president can be subjected to prosecution for misdemeanors and high crimes, felonies or whatever? If the president could be subjected by the states for that to happen, why would it be in the Constitution under Congress's responsibility, duty, part of their role? I don't believe it ever mentions anywhere in the Constitution the states have the obligation, the right, the power to do. Only the Congress. Trump faced 2 impeachments, but no convictions either time by the U.S. Senate. All right? That's how I see this. The president has to be, as a minimum, before he would be subjected to a state court filing, for committing an unlawful act, he would have to be impeached and convicted by the U.S. Senate. Now, we've heard this mentioned, and we don't know what the results is. What's my take on this right here? So wonder if a president commits a high crime and misdemeanor, let's just say a month before they leave office. Well, it's my opinion. It's the Congress's responsibility that if this is what should happen, if punishment should be imposed, they should press forward with the impeachment. Oh yeah, this would be an impeachment of a president that's not even in office. But the Constitution doesn't really make any reference to that, does it? So states, in my personal opinion, for acts the president commits during his time in office, the state has no jurisdiction. They have no jurisdiction unless, and I'm not even sure about this, but there would have to be at least a conviction by the Senate as a result of an impeachment trial. I mean, think about all the things a president serving this country could be subjected to. I mean, civilly, I mean, Trump, think about it. A president could give an order for even like this pandemic. So if Trump says, well, you should take your shots, you go out and you take the shot and you die, well, do you have a lawsuit? You see what I'm saying? So there's a zillion things that you could go out here and parse based on our president's, what he's done in office. And you could come up with, for every president going back, we could find something. Couldn't we? A state, you know what I mean? A DA, a state attorney, whatever. They can all find something. Okay? Yeah, we wouldn't usually expect to see a Republican, maybe a DA who's a conservative, be out here pressing forward trying to prosecute a conservative former president, But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the jurisdiction. That's really what this is. For acts the president commits during office, who has jurisdiction? I mean, who would want the job? Think about it. Who would want the job? The way you've seen what's been going on, who would want the job? Because you're especially who would want the job if you've got a lot of money. If all these court cases can be filed against you for this, that, and the other, and just like I said, George W. Bush, I mean, we never seen the weapons of mass destruction. I never seen pictures. I never seen any evidence of any being used against our troops or anybody else's troops in the country of Iraq. But we never seen any lawsuits, civilly or, criminal lawsuit. We didn't see any, did we? Why? Why? I mean, the presidents, in their official actions, they can have people targeted. Congress hasn't declared war. But we've not seen a president charged after the fact, after they've left office on such a matter, have we? We've not seen it. You could have a president issuing an order for something to take place inside the United States and somebody could get killed. Okay? Well, does that mean the president can be charged with murder? Or a civil trial where he faces charges, where he alone, him personally, the civil suit is against him. Well, you'd never have anybody wanting this job. You'd be afraid to make you'd be afraid to make a decision. And, former President Trump has addressed this today in his speech, talking about this Supreme Court 9-0 ruling, okay? Some people may see him talking about this and they may be like, what's he talking about? Well, I gave you some examples of what can happen. And some of it is what has happened. But there were no charges. There were no civil suits. Well, that's going to conclude the video. I hope you enjoyed.